Hello, welcome to Guild Chat. We are here with another guest, but first, I am Kyle.
I'm Wes.
And this is Guild Chat. Now title card. And then, alright. So, you have the same name as I.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Kyle, or as I'm collectively known around here, Kyle, to kind of differentiate myself from Mr. Ross here.
Yes.
And I'm a regular here at the guild, you know, kind of come down, sling some cards, kick some butt in Commander, typically, you know, participate in the drafts around here, have a great old time with the old crew.
Yeah. It's always fun whenever we get a big pod going and the pettiness level just goes dialed to 11. You know, it's
11,
great.
it's already at 13.
Well, that's true. That is true.
It starts at 13, then it goes to up.
It goes past that, yeah. But, so we wanted you on here because, you know, you're another big Magic guy here. Have you seen the new set that's coming out?
I believe Phyrexial is one, is that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen a couple of cards from it, and so far, it's crazy looking, as Phyrexia always is.
Yes.
But, I mean, that's to be expected from anything that's been made from Yawgmoth and having to do with any kind of Cenobites.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Sorry, Xenobites, I forget what the exact...
Yeah, I don't
Terminology does not matter.
Yeah,
No, I don't think it does.
Just say it confidently enough and everybody will believe it. That's
how the internet works.
Yeah,
that's how the internet works.
Well, and that's how I just work in real life.
I am not a one-take Andy, I do apologize.
Yes, yeah. But, so what got you started in Magic? Or when did you start?
When did I start in Magic? I started in I believe it was the Return to Ravnica block. Not Return to Ravnica, Ravnica Allegiance. Because that was way back whenever, I'd first just gotten into Magic. Literally, my experience with it was opening a couple of packs and finding cool cards.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
literally one of my favorite cards whenever I first started Magic was a little-known card called Mesmerizing Benethid. And it's an octopus. And it's a mythic. And it has no earthly reason to be a mythic.
Nice. Yeah.
It makes two little what are they called? Spirit tokens. And all they do is that whenever they block something, that thing that blocks them can't untap. And that's all that creature ever does.
Sweet. I like it. I like it.
Honestly, and back then, whenever I started Magic, it was just kind of wholesome little things like that. I just found like little pet creatures that I enjoyed and built decks around it that were horrible.
Right.
But, just had a blast with it. And then going from there, I found the shop, kind of find more people to actually play with consistently and, find a reason to actually make consistent decks that are, up to snuff and don't immediately get knocked over by, whatever Matt's made in this week.
Yes.
So...
It's just a 1/1 squirrel, guys. That's it.
No.
He's
it's
lying
never
to you.
a 1/1
Toski is
squirrel.
never a 1/1 squirrel.
Old Tosk.
It gets horrible.
Yes. Yeah.
It's enchantment. Well, it's enchantment heaven for Toski.
Yeah.
Everybody else, it's purgatory.
Yes. Yeah.
Nah, it's hell.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. No. Coming from the Catholic, it's hell. It's hell, not purgatory. At least purgatory, you get some relief at the end of it.
Nope. Well, yeah. With Toski, you do the end.
Well, that's true. I guess you.
The bittersweet release of life is not the reward.
Yeah. Right. Well, so you like making little fun decks, which you've kind of built. Your really gross deck is your dragon deck.
Yep, that would be the. I've kind of me and you share our pet project with dragons.
Yes.
So
Go figure.
Yeah,
completely in different
who'd have thought?
directions, but Kyle's doing the same thing. Punching.
I say we go
drywall
Highlander
and
rules.
yeah,
There
yeah,
can only be
of course.
one.
Do what?
They go Highlander rules. There can only be one.
Well, no, that's why I'm Kyle and he's Carol. So there's only one.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there's a loophole.
For now.
Yeah. But so you're which is your drag deck, which is
Well, I have two, because funnily enough, I have well, because technically Shadrix is a dragon as
Oh,
well,
that's
but
true.
we don't talk about Shadrix in terms of dragon tribal.
Right.
But Kaluth Unrivaled Ancient, that is probably my favorite. If I'm just sitting down and gonna have a fun game of Magic to just punch things, it's gonna be that.
Yeah, because you just create so much mana.
Yep, make so much mana, spend it all as much as I can, and try to burn through my whole deck and hope I don't draw myself out.
Yep. Yeah, my dragons work a little bit different. I just like putting big single threats on the board and then try swinging over you. And yeah, we both have dragon tribal, but yours is a little bit more spammy. Mine's a little bit more big
plus
bad.
yours is the Ur-Dragon.
Ur-Dragon.
So you also get to pick from all of them. Where unfortunately I'm only stuck in Gruul. So.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but you still got some really cool dragons in those colors. So.
I mean, to be fair, any dragon in Magic is a gross dragon.
Yes. Unlike angels kind of got shafted. So.
Tell that to Avacyn.
Well, Avacyn is the only exception, I will say, because I love Avacyn.
Especially whenever it's accompanied by good old Kalia.
Yeah. It's real bad. Yeah. But yeah, so do you have like a preference on color?
Colors, honestly, I like them all. The only one that I haven't actually, I think, given its quite fair shake by itself is probably going to be mono red. But I still want to do that someday, mostly because it's just fun.
Just burn, yeah.
But in terms of my favorite color, it's kind of a toss-up between green and black for me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's funny because I don't even really like Golgari, but I like those two colors separately.
Right.
So I mean, black mostly for the little power fantasy, a little being a dark mage and all the card draw and being all the life manipulation it is, and then green also for just consistent land draw and then kind of harmonizing in nature, all that good stuff. But honestly, I don't think there's really a bad favorite color choice whenever it comes to Magic either.
No, and that's why I always ask people what their favorite color is, because I saw a deal online where it was
unless it's blue for counterspells.
Well, yes,
blue can go away.
Yeah, well, I don't say go away. Just moderation.
Mono blue can go away.
Moderation,
especially whenever it comes to counterspells and bounce.
Yeah.
But I mean, it comes with the territory, with all the crazy stuff. There has to be something that can,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because I mean, if we can just spam out dragons for free,
No. Well, listen.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I would be okay with it.
Well, of course you would.
Right. Yeah. Just everybody else wouldn't. But yeah, what I like about the color thing is like I said, I was looking at a quiz online and it was what's your personality type based on your favorite color?
Those are always a trap.
Oh, absolutely. But I had to laugh because my favorite color is red and black. Mm-hmm. But I also like green and black. But so I was just well, black's kind of the common thread, So I did black, and it was I don't remember. It was 90s emo kid, I think is what it was. And I was hey, that's not untrue, but hey, don't call me out like that. And I was well, all right, I guess that's the thing. So, but yeah, there's all kinds of quizzes, and I think they're funny because
some of them definitely can be very entertaining. I haven't taken one of those in a long time now, though.
Well, avoid Facebook then, because that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah,
of course.
That and memes.
Well, and memes.
Well, I mean, I can take the memes.
Yeah, memes are fine.
So we do have to address that you are in formal attire today.
Oh yes, I do apologize. I'm a little bit overdressed today because I didn't actually know I was going to be doing this because I actually came from a different interview, a more formal one than this. But
we're just warming you up.
Yeah, just warming. Yeah, warming me up for another one later on.
Yes. Your next interview will be just carry this same energy over to the next one.
I tell you what, man. Some bosses, if I was a boss hiring people, right, and somebody came in with this kind of energy where they're just you know what, F it, I like magic, I'd be well, you're fucking hired then. That's all it would take, and they would be hired because I think that's cool.
So what's your what would be one of those dumb questions what's your greatest strength? Do you have a dragon deck?
What's your greatest strength? Do you have creatures on the board?
Yeah.
Look, I can make that not that way.
Yeah.
I can make that not.
Wrath of God.
Wrath of God.
I've got several board wipes in my deck.
Oh, God.
You got spot removal? I got spot removal.
Yeah. Or an angel that blows up all your lands.
I hate you so much.
That's like one of my favorite
What are you
cards.
talking about? Everybody loves that
Yeah.
I forget, what's the name of that angel again?
Oh God, it's
Salt the earth? No.
Well,
no,
that's
one.
what it does,
Yeah.
but that,
It's oh God, that's bad. I can't remember. It's a mono black with a white kicker. Oh God.
which of course it's in Orzhov.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
if
yeah.
anything's going to be blowing up lands, it's in Orzhov.
Yes.
Speaking which, guess what color Shadrick's on?
Yes. Yeah.
So-
yeah. Well, which you in that deck you have two commanders because you have Shadrick's and the other one, right?
I do. I can switch out for what's the name of that one? Brina. I
The
think it
owl,
is.
right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I never. I almost never do because I just find the. Well, granted, that one's nice to also kind of get the board going and get it everybody a little bit of card draw so they can
Right.
get the game started.
So then you can turn around and dick them in the end.
Well, of course, I mean,
Yeah.
you can play with all the toys you want,
Right.
but in the end, I'm gonna break them.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yeah. That's why I like that deck. It's just funny to watch that. So.
because I mean, I enjoy everybody getting their boards up, but in the end, somebody's got to bring it back down to level.
Right,
So
right.
I don't get run over.
Yes.
So
Yes.
because that I mean I've been many a burned by helping somebody out in Shadrick's and then being turned on. It was very unfortunate.
Well, and then you have like the Windborn Muse.
Yep, and then everybody
Ghostly Prison.
Everybody loves their pillow fort.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I think is funny because I run Windborn Muse and Ghostly Prison in my Angels because it's like I got to build up so long before I can start dropping creatures. So it's like if I can get those enchantments out to where I'm just like, hey,
Just slow down.
give
for
me a
minute.
minute.
Which exactly that's what I kind of love about Orzhov, and especially with having black and white, because there's just so many different variations of removal and like different ways you can slow the game down a little bit.
Right.
And then also there's a bunch of different ways where there's Varigoth, the Blood Sky Sire from Kaldheim.
Yeah.
That one I really like because that one doesn't just let me tutor, I can also help other people tutor
Right.
and also speed up the game in different places, or if somebody's particularly lacking behind.
Yeah.
So, while I do like Brina, I like Shadrick's more because I can also just say that particular person get more bonuses instead
Right.
of, just everybody getting a little bit.
Yeah.
Not an entire hug deck, just
Not an entire hug deck. It's
Yeah.
a little like I give you a little gift. Like,
You help
it's a
me,
little-
I help you, kind
yeah,
of.
and
Yeah.
then, like with the understanding that at the end of the day we are unfortunately still walkers at war. So
Yes,
I mean we
yeah. Right.
gotta do what mages do.
Which,
Yeah.
speaking of Planeswalker,
Oh.
do you like doing the Planes Chase stuff?
Oh my!
Because there's a
Chase.
particular person in the guild that effing loves it, and
Yep.
I love it for one card, a singular card.
Which one would that be?
All werewolves get 1/1.
So the other pet project deck that Kyle has that I don't know if you've talked about on this podcast before.
I have not.
Is his werewolves, and
Yes.
while that one is not the most powerful deck
No,
ever,
no.
it is the most fun and flavorful
Yes,
in terms
Yeah.
of any tribe.
werewolf tribal is so hard because it's like,
every time.
yeah, you cast a
plus-
spell, it goes back,
Yeah, and on top of that, you gotta love that some werewolves transform at different times than other werewolves.
Yeah,
So you have to keep track of that.
that's why my commander, whenever he changes, because it's whenever you have 3 werewolves out, transform him, and it force transforms everybody else. So even the older cards to where they're like, if
So it even gets around.
it gets around that. But
That's good.
and I could be wrong. I'm probably gonna get chewed out in the comments because they're like, "That's actually that is not how that works."
But to be fair, you also haven't played that deck in a very long time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of retired it because I just kept getting the brakes beat off me, and it's like, and I understand why, because once that deck does get going,
Oh yeah, it's going.
gross, and I'm swinging
Oh yeah,
10
because
beaters
there's
at
that
you.
there's that I can't remember the name of it, but I know you have that one werewolf that's like soulbound, and whenever it's on the board, it gives it and something else +4
Yeah.
+4. So you're essentially getting, what is that? It's a 5/5. And
Yep.
it gives you 8 stats, so 13 stats for
Yeah.
5 mana.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's real good.
pretty
It's real
good.
And then I have one that also binds, and then whenever it goes into the graveyard, I just get to take it back. So it's
So
like,
it's like, well, it's not even gone. It's
but yeah, but it doesn't buff quite as much as that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there's some silly stuff like that. But they're not werewolves. They're wolf avatars or something like that.
Wolfing,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's weird, but yeah. Anyway.
Oh, good old Innistrad.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yep.
They can't. I feel like they every time they do a new deck, they have to rename everything so that way the old tags just don't work.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's true in standard. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's why
But
I
thankfully
enjoy
in
Commander.
we don't
Yeah.
have to worry about that
Right.
so much.
Well, like when I was building that cat dog deck for my daughter, and it took me forever to realize hounds.
Well, they eroded that.
Yeah, because they eroded that.
Yeah, now they do count as
No, yeah,
dogs.
they didn't. But
For
then
the
they-
longest time
yeah.
they didn't. Yeah.
Then they did it, and I was like, well, now I got more cards. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Which the hounds weren't like some of them weren't even that good anyway. But like
No,
there were a few green ones that were really good.
Yeah, there are a couple of green ones, and also I think I gave you that one drop Hound of Kodama, or what's
Yes.
the name of that? That one I just really like just because I mean it's just a legendary dog that's a 2/2 for 1.
Right.
What's not to love?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
he is the best boy.
yeah. Well, hang on a minute. There was one dog in Kamigawa that came out.
Oh, that's right.
That
There's
is my.
another one. What was his name?
It's the Loyal Companion, I think is what it's called.
Oh, the little Shibu,
Shibu
Shibu,
Inu.
yeah.
Shibu, yeah, and
Yeah.
he's running, yeah.
That is like
Honestly, also
one of my favorite
the
cards.
best partner commanders because it's just super cool. Because all it does, if I remember correctly, it's just it gets a 1/1 whenever another legendary permanent comes out.
I believe so. Yeah.
So I mean, gotta love that too. And this is why I love Magic because there's so many different things that you can do with like
Yes.
different cards and decks, and like there's such variety with them. Because I mean, what other card game can you pit a dragon and a dog typically up against
Right,
each
yeah.
other? So
Yeah. Well, and what's
the
nice
also-
is the colors too, because
Yeah.
you could do whatever. You know, if you want to do a specific color set, there's a commander for that, and that's what I love.
What I love is that you can find just like utterly broken combos that just don't make any sense, that shouldn't work in any way. But you're like, wait a minute, if I have this and that, and I
Oh, yeah,
play
gotta
this,
love
holy crap!
Yeah.
gotta love the four card working combos.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
There are
like-
the infinite loops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I was gonna say that's my. I love Magic, but also I've gotten to a point where like with the new Necron deck, I think it is.
Yeah.
Layered triggers.
Yeah.
Layered triggers.
Yes. Yeah.
While I love Magic, it's just you definitely have to be up on your game whenever it comes to keeping track of your.
Well, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it can
Doctors.
get clunky.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Yes, it can. Because I mean, even in Shadrix, there's what's that one card? Esper Sentinel.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
cannot tell you how many times I have just completely missed
Forgot
the trigger on
about
that
it,
little
yeah.
guy. And at that point, I don't even need the cards because my hand's already like 20, and I'm just sitting here like I don't even need them. You don't have to pay it. Don't worry.
Yeah. What's so speaking of that, what would you say in every deck are key cards that need to be in there?
Because we've been mostly talking about Commander, I'll say with Commander in mind.
Yeah, that's what I
Definitely.
mean, Commander, because we don't play standard
There's-
here.
Not too much. We do get into drafts every once in a
Yeah,
while.
drafts
but-
we do.
And we
that's
do
not quite-
tackle Oathbreaker every now and then.
Do.
Dude, you're a child.
Shut up.
Man, Oathbreaker too.
Yeah.
But
I know. I wish we could get that going again, because that was actually
I
the
still
one.
have my deck.
Yeah,
I do
still-
too. That's what I took my werewolves to, were Oathbreaker.
Oh,
Because I
really?
had Arlen as the planeswalker.
Oh yeah.
And that was the only format where my werewolves actually did good. Was that just because it works a little different. But anyway, staple cards in every deck.
So I would say, especially, and it kind of depends on your colors, but I mean, always whenever it comes to Commander, you always need ramp, which that's either through lands in green, sometimes in white if you're lucky.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But mostly mana rocks, but also the biggest thing I'd say besides that, besides ramp, would definitely have to be card draw, because that's
Yeah.
like my number one thing. If I'm playing Magic, the one thing that I want to be doing is looking at all my cards in my hand.
Right.
Because personally, I like flexibility, because I'm a very, because a lot of people like to build their boards and kind of sit on it.
Yeah.
I'm a very interactive player. I like to, kind of get my foot, in whatever everybody's doing.
Right,
Just a little
right.
don't forget I'm here.
Yeah.
So so after that, I would say interaction, which whether through like spot removal, which would be my recommendation, because
Yes.
no offense, I don't feel like getting hit with an 8/8 indestructible double strike.
Right.
But
commander damage on top.
commander.
Of
Oh yeah, of course, damage. And Lord have mercy if it's buffed.
that. Yeah.
Remember, it's just a 1/1 squirrel, guys.
Oh yeah, it's just a 1/1. It's just a 1/1.
Well, I don't think he's ever as low as 8/8. It's usually like
No,
a
no,
10
no.
or 15 double
No.
strike.
It's typically like 23 with trample, and then he fights whatever you got to defend
Right,
yourself
right,
with.
yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say goes ramp, card draw, removal, and then of course I would say probably after that you definitely want to kind of hone in what creatures are going to do best for your deck. But I mean that's if you're like how I build decks, and I have to be optimal because I have to keep up with some of the other people around here and make sure that I don't get run over.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, we've said it before on the chat and on the news that we really do have a good community here. And, we kind of stick our necks out for each other, that sort of thing, but that doesn't mean it doesn't get super fucking petty.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, typically after the third time one of my spells has been countered, there's going to be a specific, payback coming for that.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Well, it's like whenever, because this is a true story, and Wes knows this is true because I told him. When we played, I don't remember what deck you were playing. So I went home that night, and I was like, I'm building Obeka just to counter other Kyle. And
sounds about right.
And I shoved a shit ton of counter spells in it. And I was like, every time he's going to play something, I'm going to counterspell it. And I did that. And that's what that deck originally was built for. And then I played you, I countered a few of your spells, and I don't remember what ended up happening with that game. And that happened, and I was like, cool, that was fun. I really like Obeka now, and I really want to make this a legit deck. And I have made it to where I just get so many extra turns.
Oh, man. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Obeka is the one where you tap her. She's the Grixis one where you tap her and
you can
end
end
the
turn. Yeah. Or it says player may end their turn.
Oh,
so
right,
I can
right.
even use it for, say, you, like if you put, what is it, Alchemist Gambit, to where you would die on your next upkeep. I could be like,
save other people too.
I can save other people. So I could be like, hey, I can tap her and you may end your turn, or I don't. And that's another reason why I like Obeka is because she's very political when it comes to that sort of stuff.
I was going to say, I thought it wasn't that you may end your turn. It's that the player ends their turn.
No. They may. Because you can't force them to end their turn. You can take control.
If that was the case, it would be like a discontinuity, and that would be a 9-drop commander.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and repeatable and untappable. That would be gross.
Yeah, it would be real bad.
I was gonna say because honestly, I've seen a lot of cool stuff that's happened with that deck. Because there are times where you haven't really done a whole lot, but then you'll chain off like 2 or 3 extra spells, and then you're right up back with the rest.
Right.
So or ahead in most cases.
Yeah. Well,
whenever you untap 3 times, that's a lot of mana.
Yeah, it's a lot of mana, and on top of that, I get a whole extra turn. And then what I love to do is I have Mirror Box. I have Mimic Vat, and I have Shakashima.
I didn't even know you made a little copy package in it.
Yeah, because for one card
Kyle,
in particular,
this is why you have to play Magic more. I have to see more of your decks.
Well, I haven't played her in a really long time.
Well, you haven't played your werewolves either in a really long time.
Because it's set up for, but in time. But it's really funny because I have Ulamog, right?
Oh, God.
And he is the one card that I just want to copy over and over and over and over again because it's hilarious.
Because Annihilator 4 is always hilarious.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then no, it's not.
Well, one time I think I had 3 copies of him on board.
Oh, dear.
And I didn't swing any of them. And I was just like, I can.
Just the threat of Annihilator 12 is enough to kind of keep most people like...
Well, I might have had the Eldrazi enchantment too, where it makes it each of them Annihilator 6 instead of 4.
So Annihilator 18, gotcha.
Yeah. But I didn't swing them. I was playing cool.
Basically had board wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had board wipes plus, because Annihilator goes for those lands too.
It goes for lands, enchantments, creatures. It does not matter.
Permanents are indiscriminate.
Yes. Yeah. and it's real fun. But anyways,
I'm glad I haven't been on the receiving end of that.
no, 'cause like I said,
it sucks.
the original
Poor Wes.
purpose of me building it was for you, and then like I don't remember what you played the deck that I played against, and I countered a couple spells, and I was like, I'm good with it now, and then I just started amping her up because it's just a fun deck to play. And
Which that's funny. I never knew that was the reason for
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
I never even
so you did, like, that night I went home and Wes swung by my house, and I was like, I'm building this, and Wes is like, why? And I was like, cow is why.
I think your exact words were, fuck Kyle.
It probably was, because I don't remember
to be
what
fair,
it was.
I probably I will.
To
I
be
will
fair,
say,
you probably did something to deserve
I
it.
did probably do something to deserve it, because I will say there is an aspect with Commander that I had to learn kind of early on, that it is still a social game.
Yeah.
So you still
Yes.
have to be courteous to your opponents. Like
Right.
yes, yeah, you can blow up their stuff and have all the fun and whatnot, but you have to remember that the other people are still also there to play the game and to have fun as well.
Right.
So I mean. So back in the day, I was a bit more mean with my spot removal and whatnot.
Yeah,
So-
that was and that's why I built it, because you were counterspelling my stuff and then spot removing. So I was like,
Oh, and that was back whenever I had the Demir deck.
yes.
Oh,
And
that
so
yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to counter his fucking counters. That is what I'm gonna do. And so that's why I built her. And then I think it was like probably a week later, because I had to wait on the cards and that sort of thing. And then a week later we played, and then you went to counter something. So then I countered your counter, and then my creature. No. I countered your counter, and then you countered me again. So it still went away. But I was like, hey, I can at least do it,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
so
say-
and that was all. That was it. That was all it took.
I was gonna say, and yeah, that was my first iteration of making like a gross removal deck.
Yeah.
And just for a little message at home with the folks, most people do not enjoy the mill strategy. Unfortunately, I am one of the people who does. So, but I've kind of peeled back from that now.
What is
'cause-
it? Tasha's hideous laughter, where it's half your library.
No, that's maddening cacophony kicked.
Yes. Well,
And then Tasha's is almost more gross, because
Yeah.
it exiles the top card of your library till you hit a mana CMC of all those cards of 20.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, Lord have mercy if you're in a land batch.
Yeah.
Because all of those poor cards are
Which
going
is
away.
normally what happens to me when you do it,
Yes.
and I'm just like, oh, land. Surely, we're gonna. What is happening?
And then you'll hit 1 drop, 2 drop, 3
Yeah,
drop,
yeah.
still get all the consistency, and then it's like
Yeah.
you're at 19, and the last one's like 10. It's like, why couldn't that have been the first?
The first, and then I could have just went. You know what? It's fine. It's fine, Kyle.
So that's also the fun part about Magic, is that
Yeah.
it definitely can elicit some very unexpected emotions.
Yeah. But in a fun way. I mean, we all still have fun at the end of the day.
Oh, of course.
And there's a lot of trash talking, that sort of thing.
Oh, of course.
But then,
Really?
But
I never noticed.
Between two Kyles.
yeah,
who would have guessed?
guessed?
Between you two, almost every game, I recall a game of Twilight Imperium.
Yeah. Well, listen, you did blow up my capital ship. So.
I did blow up a capital
Yeah,
ship.
yeah. I was.
To be fair,
I was a little petty about that.
Speaking of which, we also need to play that again.
Yes, absolutely. Which
We need to record.
segues right into a good question. Board games.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite board game?
Oh, favorite board game. Ooh, that's a good question.
Okay, break it into two. A game that you think looks fun and interesting, and you're kind of interested in it, but you're not.
On that thought, hang on. All right. Picking back up. All right, so breaking into two sections.
Favorite board game that you find interesting and thematic, and like you would like to play, or that you've only played once, and then something that you enjoy to play, even if it's stupid simple.
Yeah.
Man, in terms of like a stupid, like fun board game. Okay, so addressing that first question first, I would still say probably just because of how much fun it was, even the couple of times we've done it, I would still say like in theory, Twilight Imperium is still probably my favorite just board game.
Yeah.
Because it's
an RTS.
I was gonna say it's a board game version of an RTS, and it granted it takes forever, but I mean, if you have the people to
like an
sit
RTS,
down,
like an RTS, yeah.
Yeah, but at least like in this you have the people around you, you're still talking with them, even whenever it's not your turn. You're still with in a group setting, still hanging out. Well,
and you're always
as long as you have people who want to play.
And of course, with all the politics and the different like layered agendas that people can have, everybody's speculative, but you're still trying to make allies and make your way in this big old universe, trying to become the next ruler of the galaxy.
Right.
So I mean. And just the theme in that is just so appealing to me, little old nerd me.
Yep.
So
and also, I heard before we started playing, I heard somebody say this, and I thought that seems kind of dumb. But after playing it, no, you're right. Simply moving one ship can cause a whole argument.
Yes.
Like, why is that thing there? That's too close to my planet. Why is he here? This is my sector. What are you doing here?
Well, and we haven't...
I'm just coming to trade some resources. No, you're not. No, there's a gunship behind him. There's a gunship over there. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah. It's good times. And we haven't even played the expansion yet. There's a new race in the expansion that I really want to play. And basically what happens is I eat your ship and then poop out a new ship of mine.
He saw in there...
dinosaurs?
They're giant dragon dinosaur things.
He looked at it and he goes, those are dragons. They've got a thing called Devour. This is my army.
Yeah. And I was like, what does Devour do? Oh, I get to eat your ship, and in replace of that, I put my own ship there. But I think they struggle with actually building their own ships, and so they're real like hinges on that.
They are literally the Borg.
Yeah,
they're probably going to be the definition of literally feast or famine.
Yeah,
so it's either you build your one ship and then you really hope you can cavalcade into more through eating, but of course then if that's the case, your politics with the other players is going to be very bad.
Right. That's the downside to it.
So it's kind of a question of, do you want to be this ultra aggressive force, a menace in the universe, but have no allies?
Yeah.
Or be kind of middle of the pack, or more tradesman like, and just kind of sit back, try to let everybody play their games, and then
there is a middle ground there. You have a few allies. You say, I'm not eating your ships.
That's
Feed
true.
Me them.
Yeah, but then I gotta find a way to get to those other people that I gotta eat. But yeah, so Twilight Imperium. So what outside of the RTS aspect, do you like the politics of it? Or
100% the politics, and also I just enjoy. Granted, while it can be very complicated, I also just enjoy a expansive thing. Like, how do I put it? Well, it can be kind of cumbersome to have to manage a whole bunch of different resources. I still like that because, it makes me kind of have to think about my different moves and all the different possibilities that I could do.
Yeah.
Or the different interactions I could have with players. Like, say, because, you might have a planet that has, more, like mineral production or whatever. I forget what the little yellow...
I can't remember
it's
what
been
it's
a minute.
But it's a resource,
But, if you have, like, a planet nearby you, it's like, oh, well, okay, so if I come into, like, your solar system, because I like to play the ones with the portals, because I like to be by everybody, because I like
the
to...
technocracy guys or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're the ghosts. They were the ghosts.
They were ghosts.
The ghosts of, like, Krios or something.
They're basically cyborg spirits, which makes no sense, but...
Hey, I mean, they're essentially, like, the more agreeable Thousand Sons. They're not going to psycher you to death. They're just going to pop up and be like offering weird deals.
You just triggered me so hard. Fucking Thousand Sons.
So it was Thousand Sons.
Blake, it's your fault. Love you, Blake.
Or you could fly a Death Sun through space.
Well, I mean that is the
which
only
caused
other...
a whole downward spiral that whole game.
That is a bit of an error. So I did learn in my first game, do not put a War Sun anywhere near a portal. Everybody will be suspicious of you, and if it goes through a portal, you're enemy number one, regardless of where it's at.
Yes.
Well, and everybody kept wanting to take the center planet, which I know that's how you win the game, and I was just like, I'm building a fleet. Nobody's going to the middle planet. We're gonna play this out.
And I was just like, I just want to start, because the whole thing is that the secondary part of the politic aspect doesn't start until you get to that planet.
That's true.
So the whole thing is that I was, and I'm the portal people, and I can move around the board pretty easy.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I'll just, I'll build a little fleet, go up there, just kind of start the politics.
Then this
and
happens.
Kyle got so mad.
Yeah.
To be fair,
As the
I
internet
did
said-
also kind of drop into his backyard and then blow up part of his fleet.
Yeah. And you wondered why I was petty at the end of it.
And as the internet puts it, he took that personally.
Yes. Yeah, because I was just building my fleet up because that was that race that I played was just they
'cause
build fleets.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were playing one of these super militarized ones, and I was like, meh.
And so then I have this one little planet where I've got like 2 cruisers or, nothing, not even like capital ships, nothing. They were just little bitty ships. And then you warp in with half a fleet and you're just like, they die. And I'm like, what the hell? And then you try to go to the planet.
You had a bunch of little ships in your flagship.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
it was your
yeah, you
flagship.
blew my
And
flagship
your
up,
flagship,
that's right.
your flagship was in his way.
Yeah.
So he blew up your little piddly bullshit, which you really weren't that mad about.
Right.
Then he blew up your flagship.
Yeah.
And then I saw a
Because
shift in your eyes.
Because if I remember correctly, the whole issue was that you were acting like a blockade for my main fleet
Yes.
to get to the main planet. And I was like, I don't want to have to, because I couldn't get around without like invading planets. So
Right.
it's like, I guess I'm going through then, because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spend like 4 turns to backtrack through my portal and live
Right.
back home with my tail between my legs. So I
Right,
was like,
yeah.
guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
And it was a mistake.
It was
It's-
glorious.
Yeah. But
So with that said, that's one of your favorite hypothetical games. What game do you have just fun playing?
Honestly, I can't even remember. It's called different things, but I forget the name of it. It's that game where you have your like tiled board, and you have 2 white pieces, 2 black pieces, and literally the only objective of the game is to turn all the as much of the board over into your color. I think it's called like Go or something.
oh, you're talking like
Kind of sounds like not like Chinese checkers, but
well, it's
I think
similar.
Lotus.
Lotus.
Yeah.
Yes, Lotus, I think is. Well, I think that's one of the
Well,
names.
it's probably a granted, of course, because we're in America, it's probably an off-brand weird Lotus. that I'm
Right,
thinking
right.
of. But
Yeah.
just the simplistic aspect of that game, and just kind of the one-on-one conversation that I like to have with that one, because
Yeah.
you're just kind of sitting with the other person bullshitting and just turning over tiles, and then
Yeah.
if somebody happens to set up like an amazing move, it's like, oh shit, half
Yeah.
the board just turned over,
Right.
and you're like, oh hell.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, because I like swingy games like that too.
Sure.
Because like me, it's not always about winning for me. I just like to have a good experience with a game, and typically, for me, what makes a game the most fun is how close it can be.
Yeah.
Because at any point in time, if you can, pull victory from the jaws of
Yeah,
defeat,
yeah.
it's the most fun.
Right. So you are slowly getting into Warhammer.
Yep.
And you
Slowly
play the
but surely.
Crons.
I do play the Necrons. It's weird. I kind of have a theme with me. I seem to enjoy the shiny, edgy stuff. So.
Yeah. So
I was just going to say the hateful things.
yeah.
Hey, I mean, they're not all hateful. Some of them are just
He has
deranged.
he has a friggin' prison with clones of Primarchs in it.
Hey, we're what Trazen does with his infinite library, and you have to appreciate the man. He's just a cataloger. He
Well,
just takes things from history to be preserved. Unless they make him mad, and then he tosses them into a webway
yes.
just to annoy the Eldar.
Yes. Which
That
is
bell is still somewhere out there.
Yeah. We don't know where it's at. But what drew you to the Necrons?
What, honestly, I genuinely enjoyed the story of like the Silent King and the betrayal and kind of the tragedy of how the Necrons kind of came to be. Because I mean, I don't know how. I'm sure you guys are big Warhammer buffs whenever it comes to lore here. So I mean, just just the tragedy of them being tricked by these
The Satan,
the Satan, because they were so blinded by well, and they had the limitation of having very frail bodies, short
lives,
lifespans.
living by a radiated sun.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So I mean, and they just they used with all those, issues, they were still a thriving species.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they were trying to branch out, and they met the old ones.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, they had so many interpersonal conflicts. They're like, well, we have to, unify against something. And the only thing they had was the old ones. So they're like, we're going to fight those guys.
Yeah. Which caused the whole chain reaction of them creating the Eldar, the orcs, and
Well, back then, the Krorks.
The Krorks, which are smarter orcs, which is friggin' terrifying.
Mm-hmm. They're also giant.
Oh
yeah, they were huge.
Way
I mean,
bigger.
they're still big, but like they were bigger than they are now.
Yeah, they used to be like the size of a fucking dreadnought and some bigger.
Yeah,
that's the normal one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But so the whole like old one versus them capturing gods and just
it's hard to kind of argue the rule of cool in that regard, because I mean it's hard to be like we've literally taken gods and broken them down into little pieces
into
so we
shards,
can use them as batteries,
right?
Or little Pokeballs.
Yeah.
So it that stuff also kind of drew me in, and also plasma, so much plasma.
Yeah. The whole like just Necron energy thing that they got going is really cool. It's like in the, I don't know if you remember, if you watched the 9th edition trailer where the Necrons are coming in and just melting guardsmen.
Yep, those poor guardsmen.
Yeah. That I just that image of them.
It's always the poor guardsmen.
Well, yeah, I mean somebody has to die.
That's what we're there for. Damn it.
Yeah, I just love the whole like you saw the outline of green and then you see the skeleton and then it just crumples. Yep. And it's like, dang, that would be a horrible way to go.
Yeah, it's weird because I have weird polar opposite tastes, because I really like happy-go-lucky stuff like with the orcs or like some of the other races, or like salamanders. Like, if I were to make a loyalist army, it would be the salamanders, because
salamanders are really cool.
Because they're they're the ones that are just like they're there to protect the people first and foremost above everything.
With
and then
fire.
With a lot of
lots
fire.
of fire.
That's
and meltas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but then and then on the opposite side of the spectrum, I'm like, Necrons, little skelety boys, just melting everything with plasma.
Yeah.
But at the same, So,
well, see, there's a common theme there. You're wanting to melt things.
That is true.
I suppose. But I don't know. I don't particularly just like them, because they melt things.
No, I know.
Just,
yeah.
I don't know, just the I don't know, the tragedy, because I mean even now, like the Silent King's trying to do right by his people, even though he's done so wrong.
Yeah, he was the one that doomed them to their existence.
Yeah, and then went on his little 10,000 year
sleep
pleasure cruise through through the void.
Yeah.
Which I cannot imagine how boring that must have been.
Oh yeah, it'd been awful.
I was gonna say, unless ran into some nids in the
I mean he could
space.
That he could have ran into something. I'm sure he killed something, because he came back just as in his prime as he was when he left. So I'm sure he had some practice in there. At the very least, he ran into some demons.
Oh, at the very
So I mean that's always a thing too. But
oh my goodness, warp demons, gotta love them.
Yeah.
And the warp.
But you were going to ask him something?
I was just going to throw the general question that we always ask everyone if they've had any interactions with a ghost.
Oh, yeah, right.
Speaking of warp demons.
Yeah.
Yes, on 2 occasions.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the one time that we all collectively came up here, and I was one of the other people who saw him peeking from around a doorway and then slinking back.
Right.
Which, I mean, the best way that I could describe it is a shadow in a shadow, but not a shadow.
Right. Yeah, it's really hard to describe because it's darker than the dark.
Yeah, and initially I thought it was just my head just making movements just out of the
pareidolia.
And I was just like that's and then and then and it's like, nope, that wasn't me.
Right.
I was gonna say, can't blame all of it on eye floaters.
No, not all.
So
you can blame some of it on it's just my head, but then when everyone goes, "Do you see that?" Maybe it's just all of our heads.
Yeah.
And then the other one, which was more fun, is the one time I was locking up. I think I was stepping outside with Big Mike, and Big Mike was outside, and I closed up and just turned off all the lights and started walking to the door. And as I was walking to the door, I did hear doubled footsteps behind me.
Yeah.
And just kept on walking like I didn't hear nothing. Just opened the door, closed it, locked it behind me. didn't hear nothing. So
Yeah.
I guess he was just, walking me out.
So, what do you hope you see at the store? Like, moving on, do you want, like, is there anything in particular you would like to see?
Honestly, just kind of what I've always wanted to see for the store, and that's just kind of a growing and thriving community around it, and just kind of it being a safe haven for all people kind of cloistered and nerdy.
Right.
So,
yeah, because we don't really have an outlet outside of, like, this kind of place.
Yeah, I was going to say, so, I mean, as you would want for all your friends, I just kind of want to see the people around me just, grow and thrive, and the store just kind of alongside it, just,
That's kind of like a secondary kind of,
Yeah,
everything.
people first, location second.
Right, right. Yeah, because I think, even if the store wasn't here, we'd all be friends.
Oh, of course.
So, I mean...
We'd be in a basement somewhere doing something.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
probably something similar.
Yeah.
With that, I really don't think there's much we could talk about. You were running for a while Adventure.
Adventures League, yeah.
Adventures League. Yeah, I was running Adventures League for a little while, because also another big thing that I love to do around here is D&D and play.
But you just recently started DMing.
Yeah,
Yes.
very recently started DMing. And honestly, that was a very good experience, I would say, kind of getting a good grasp with, how different players like to react in the game and how they like to play, and kind of getting, being on the other side of the screen instead of being just a player as I had been traditionally.
Right.
So I can be a wild magic barbarian again?
Oh, Jesus Christ, no.
As long as you're not a kobold.
Okay.
Hey! I love my kobolds.
Well, I've been scarred by one kobold sorcerer that Wes has made, so...
No, he was a wild magic barbarian. He wasn't a sorcerer.
No, I thought he was a sorcerer.
No, every time I raged, I did wild magic.
You turned into a plant, though.
I know, because I rolled terribly.
And then got murked by a kid for his first time ever being here.
Yeah, so one of the best stories I think I had as a DM was brought to you in part by Wes.
Yeah.
So we were just having a
Wait,
nice
didn't I turn
little...
into 2 potted plants?
No, what?
No, it
you
was
made a
single.
clone of yourself.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And
That
so there
was-
was a 50-50 chance that he would have hit the real one.
Yes, and so this I think he was about 15, a new kid at the store that we hadn't seen.
Oh,
before.
yeah, he was
sat down and played.
Probably 13, because I think he was...
Oh
Gray's
yeah,
age?
He was younger.
Gray's
He was
age.
younger.
Yeah.
So, but either way, it was one of the first times that he had ever sat down and played D&D. So we get to towards the end of the session. Up until now, it'd been kind of benign, but somebody had made an amazing perception check, so they found a little magical bootlegger stash.
Yeah.
So they went down through this little dugout tunnel and got to this stone crypt thing.
Yeah.
And they open it to an empty room. Except for on the far end of the room, there's this magical looking alchemical setup.
Right.
It looked,
And
the way you described it to me, the thing that came into my mind was a moonshine bin.
yes.
Yeah. That's
Like a
that's the
distillery.
impression that
That's
I got.
what I thought.
So it was either for moonshine or magic is what we were trying to figure out, and then he happened.
So yeah, and the little kobold, his first reaction was not to
Hold up. You made it when we killed those wolves. You made it a big deal that I had that potion.
You did have that potion.
You made it a big deal that I found that potion. I didn't know what the potion did.
And so
Wes.
your first reaction was to drink it.
No.
No, it was to put it into the machine.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
yeah.
the issue, well,
My first reaction was to drink it.
Yeah.
so
I
yeah,
took it from you so I could put it in the machine.
Yes.
to roll it back a little bit more, because so the potion that he's talking about, he found on a dead, what looked like herb picker out in the woods that got assaulted by some wolves, and they found 2 vials, one crushed and one not crushed.
Yeah.
And the one that was crushed, what was leaking over all the stuff, and I don't know if I ever talked about it, but that's what made the wolves do what they did.
Yeah,
You told us at the end.
Yeah.
Because I think you were just so dumbfounded by what he did.
Yeah,
You're just
'cause-
listen, they were just regular wolves.
They were regular wolves hopped up on what was essentially
Meth.
yes,
Yeah.
It was magical, rage-inducing, just
So bath salts.
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, and of course, whenever this, this little kobold barbarian.
I had an
Besides-
intelligence of 8, okay?
Mirrors real life.
Anyways.
So whenever he's going up to walk up to this this setup and pour this potion in, I'm thinking it's probably gonna explode. There's a solid chance because it's very volatile.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And
No,
then
you
in
made-
an enclosed space. But all right.
You made the comment that I shouldn't do that, and that's when somebody, I think it was the kid or you, tried to stop me from doing it.
The kid.
So I raged.
I was curious at this point.
Yeah, you and me were on board.
Yeah.
We were wanting to see what was going to happen, so he tried to stop me. I went into a rage to fight, which immediately kicked off wild magic.
Yeah.
I unfortunately didn't want to end the session in just, the whole party exploding in an enclosed area.
Right.
And the rubble falling in and killing you. That would have been kind of a boring ending. So I was thinking, like, either you don't do this or I'm going to have to really, really hope that I roll well on this this poor alchemical station.
Yeah.
Or else it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So, and of course, this is also one of the first times I've DM'd, so I'm like, no, don't do that. But, now I've learned, let the players do what they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after that, so I as I said, I can't remember who went to stop you. I just remember the aftermath. So somebody goes to stop him, and he rages, and he rolls. I can't remember if it was horribly or phenomenally, because he has to roll multiple times again on the table.
I rolled
The first
phenomenally, and it says, you roll multiple times. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to get fun. And then I rolled, and it's like, you're a plant. And I was like, what?
So
Yeah.
he turns into a potted plant, clones himself as the potted plant, so there are two seemingly benign potted plants. And then, if I remember correctly, you shine extremely brightly
Yeah.
and flashbang essentially anybody who's around you and
You
blind
flashbanged me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I also grew fur.
them. Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you also
yeah.
so the plant grew fur.
Right.
So there are two luminescent furry plants
Yes.
shimmering in this basement.
I think that's probably what they harvest that liquid from. Where
Probably.
probably
I mean, honestly,
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if you just spontaneously became one of the alchemical components.
Yeah.
That's
But
probably what it was.
but the funniest thing came after. So as we were talking about this this kid, hadn't played D&D before.
Yeah, very
like,
first time
well,
playing D&D.
I guess we got to break the potted plant to make him not a plant anymore. And I mean, honestly, solid logic.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it worked. You had 1 HP as a plant, and once it was broken,
Then I turned back
Yeah.
into me.
The only issue is that
Fucking crit.
he used a sword, not a fist or a stick,
Yeah.
and he crit
Nat 20
on a potted plant.
on a potted plant.
So he swung a sword at the potted plant. There was
The best part was the right one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the
hit
thing.
the
He had
right
a 50-50
one.
chance.
hit the right one, and all of a sudden, a mess of a kobold spread across the
Yes.
room.
So, and unfortunately, because he was indeed a kobold,
I had like 5 hit points.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, he
surprised
rolled-
I didn't die with the wolves.
honestly,
Yeah, I don't.
I was a 5 hit point barbarian
Yeah.
running into the fray, stabbing them, and didn't die. So how I got to that point, I have no idea.
Were you like one of my favorite stories in D&D was one that I did because it was just stupid. Was
about this.
because you were on the Matt Duplessis game where we were on the boats, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and whenever I went in the back as a bat and then tried catching the ship on fire and instead blew myself up and killed myself. Oh no, I didn't kill myself. I knocked myself
You knocked-
unconscious.
yeah.
And then I was later revived, and then me and you went down into the basement, if I recall, or not the basement, the
Lower decks.
lower decks,
decks.
and there was a door. And Matt was like,
Oh.
"It's a creepy door," and I'm like, "I picklock it." And you were like, "Yeah, let's picklock it and let's see what's in there." And then we open it up to an eldritch horror, basically, and immediately died.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think. Yep.
yeah, that was amazing. that was a really fun one. Matt Duplessis again is just a great DM.
He's a
anyway.
great DM.
I was gonna say, whenever he tells you it's a creepy door,
It's a creepy,
creepy
door,
door.
and don't go in it. Do not go in it.
atypically, I was gonna say, because if you do wind up coming to the guild and being in a game under Matt Duplessis, take his warnings very seriously.
Yeah, they are literal warnings. They're not there for you to be like,
And
oh,
it's-
I
it's
second
funny,
guess this.
because you think you think he's joking with you because he's a very jovial person.
Yes,
I mean, you
yeah.
had him on the
Oh, yeah.
podcast. Everybody would know by now his personality. He is very strict whenever it comes to damage in Dungeons
Yes,
and Dragons.
yeah.
Well, what I love is even in the podcast, I don't know if it made it in the podcast, it might be in the bloopers. He goes, we were sitting there laughing about how off the wall and cuff and silly he is. And we talked about him being a good DM. He goes, but if you haven't, contrary to what you might think, I like to run serious games in D&D.
He does.
Yeah.
He loves to run very serious, not always combat heavy, but
I don't
normal
think it made
investigative.
it in the final cut. I think it was cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, very serious in his campaigns.
He's not. He said he doesn't like running a lot of combat, but he wants every combat to matter.
Yeah.
And by God, does he make that happen in Tuesday?
Yes. So, that is going to wrap it all up. But before we end, I do want to say Kyle is a DM, loves to play Magic, loves board games. Well, some of them, not all of them, because some of them are,
Well, I mean,
less so.
but I mean,
yeah. If you want to get into a role-playing game or play some Commander or
If you want to get
Warhammer,
involved in any of the war games, we just started one-page rules here recently, and people are getting interested in that.
Yeah, so definitely come on in. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe the video. We would love to get this out more. And yeah, so Kyle, do you have any final thoughts before we close it up?
honestly, just thank you for watching, everybody, and
Yeah.
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always
Listen
fun
how
with guests.
formal he is.
Yeah, I know.
I'm in the formal attire.
That's true.
Okay,
He
that's
does-
true.
he does have
That's
to
true.
say-
He's got to
yeah.
play the part. Good job.
But anyways, come on in and see us at...
205 South First.
Yeah. I'm trying to get you involved in the outro here.
Come on, Wes.
Yeah.
Okay.
On your game. Let's go. So, come on in. We'd love to see you. And why don't you come on in and...
Roll some dice.
No. Do it right.
Oh, I have to do it right?
You have to do it. Well, that too. Yeah, sling cards.
Roll some dice!
No, you just made it look like you're jerking
You
a
always
horse.
make it look weird, too!
You go up here.
I did!
No, you go, looks like you're jerking off a horse. All right. We'll see you next time. Love you from the guild.
Bye.
God damn it.